Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a separation powder. A separation powder is in itself a magical enchanted powder made from different ingredients that does exactly what it says. It can separate two things or multiple things from itself. Separates and divides things. So if you are looking to maybe separate your child from an abusive relationship, or a friend or a parent from an abusive relationship, you can use separation powder to divide them. Say, you were working in a horrible environment or an abusive environment, but you don't want to necessarily leave, so maybe you do a separation work that can bring some type of opportunity to you that will let you separate yourself from your job. Separation powders can also include itself with separating magical enchantments from items, or separating yourself from an enchantment. Say somebody put a working on you that you don't jive with, you don't want, you didn't ask for, or it's just completely harmful. You can use separation powder to separate you from this enchantment. Separating powder can be used in separating yourself from unhealthy people, toxic situations. Separate yourself from a drug or a habit. Any of these things, separation powder, whatever you can separate, separation powder will help you a long way. For me, I'm just kind of I'm making more so I can throw into my stock jar so I can have for the go, especially because a lot of lately, I guess I've been needing separation powder. So we're here to make that. So I'm letting a little cleansing fire burn out. I'm going to ignite some charcoal to burn some type of resin. I don't know what I'm feeling yet. Either copal, benzoin, maybe frankincense. Whatever I decide is what I'll decide. You don't have, that's not part of the spell. You ain't got to worry about that. You cleanse with whatever you want to cleanse with. Yeah, with that being said, I'm going to jump into that. I guess I can give you the ingredients real quick. So for the separation powder, we're including two different roots. We are including valerian root, because if you've ever smelled valerian root, that's something you want to separate yourself from. I'm just saying. Alright, that should stink. Alright, now. Another thing is mandrake root. Now, personally for me, I don't know if I've ever emphasized how much I love mandrake root. It's in a lot of my recipes. Be very careful when working with toxic or poisonous plants, roots, anything in that category. In reality, you don't even have to use these poisonous toxic plants. There are sigils for any plant that is toxic that you can use and work with to call on their spirits without actually having the ingredient on hand. So that's something that's very good, very helpful. And it's probably the safest thing because you're not messing with anything toxic. However, when working with the spirits, always be careful. And if you are going to work with the real stuff, work with the real stuff. Now, I wanted to emphasize this because someone asked in my last video whether or not this was real mandrake root or American mandrake, which they're very similar, but they are two different plants. I am working with real mandragora, mandrake root. I forget what the official, like the whole scientific title of mandrake root is, but I'm working with real mandrake. Lord, I can't speak today. So yeah, you can use American mandrake for this, and really as a substitute for real mandragora if you don't want to mess with the toxins. So there is that. Along with the mandrake root and the valerian root, we are working with tobacco. We are working with sulfur. Don't look at the way I spelled sulfur on that jar. We are working with graveyard dirt, and we are working with a wasp nest or a bee's nest or any type of nest you can get. Wasp nest is probably one of the better things to get because wasps are very aggressive and people want to run away when wasps are tracing them. You know, anything like that. If that's the energy it gives you, then you know it's great for your separation powder. Say, you know, spiders make you want to run away and separate yourself from wherever spiders are. Throwing dead spiders and crushing them into a powder and adding it into this is a great ingredient. Anything like that. If you're working separation on a specific person, you can utilize their fears and whatever it is. Yeah, you can use like banana peels because you separate the peel from the fruit. Anything like that, you get the point. I am going to light my charcoal disc and let that burn with some type of resin in it. So I will see you after the fact. Okay. So, now that you know the ingredients, I'm also, by the way, I cleansed and anointed this brown candle because I'm going to light this brown candle. As a matter of fact, now as I chant Separatus et dividere. What? Separatus et dividere. That one was a little hard because of the way it is. But separation et dividere means separated and divided in Latin. So I'm going to chant that as I ignite this candle so it can give me a little extra strength during this work. You don't have to use Latin. You can use whatever language you want if you use this incantation. If you use any incantation. Personally, I like Latin because I feel that that is the spirit's universal language. Nobody can agree with me. Nobody needs to argue with me either. That's just for me and how I would work it. So, separatus et dividere, 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 separatus et dividere. Give me strength and added power to help me enchant separation power. Separation. Alright, so did I also mention in these ingredients we have what I think is called Diablo pepper. I could be wrong on that, but I believe these are called Diablo peppers. And yeah, that's what they look like. Point is something extremely hot and spicy. You could use cayenne pepper, you could use black pepper, you can use really anything. For me, I like the Diablo pepper. Now, the thing about that is it won't, a couple of these ingredients aren't the best at becoming a powder, especially this. If I grind it, it just kind of flattens it. It doesn't really turn it into a powder. So what I like to do is snip it into little pieces, and then as I'm working, some of it will turn into a powder. Not all of it, and that's fine. This doesn't have to be the finest powder in the world. But if you just snip this, if you guys didn't just see that, it went that way. I have no idea where that went. I'm just gonna keep going. Make sure you get it in the mortar and pestle. But small snips, all right? With this being said, you guys do not have to watch me snip all of these peppers. So you get the point. Do what you got to do. I'll see you at the next ingredient. I will say, in case anybody wonders, that little stem at the top of the pepper, I'm also including in this. I mean, not every pepper has that. Like this one doesn't. If it has it, include it. You know what I mean? If it has it, add it. Okay, so at the end of your snipping, you can see in the mortar and pestle, that is what it should look like. I really don't know if you can see something. I'm gonna do it. Right? I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? You can't see shit. I'm sorry. The lighting in this room is not good. Point is, snip it up if need be. Another thing that came to mind is that you could add what is it, like red chili flakes or something? Whatever you put on pizza. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You can add that to this as well. But yeah. So now, point is, for me anyway, I love my enchantment while grinding, while working. So that's what I'll do. So I'll be doing that. My enchantment includes visualization of the powder separating my intentions, whatever that is, and incantations. That's just my form of enchantment during this work. Y'all don't have to do that. You enchant however you enchant, but I cannot stress enchantment enough. If you do not enchant, you're just making an herbal blend, and that's not going to do really anything but maybe some medicinal uses. If you like, I love enchantments. Okay, I see a lot of witches that don't enchant and then wonder why their works aren't working, and it's because maybe if you don't put in energy, if you don't put in that intention, that intention, the enchantment, it's not going to do anything. If you just light a candle, hoping it's going to give you protection, it ain't gonna. You have to light that candle, you have to enchant that candle, then you have to inscribe it, you have to maybe anoint it, maybe visualize, maybe pray over it. Whatever form of enchantment you like, you do, but make sure you do some type of enchantment. Excuse me. Here's also maybe a tip for those who are looking for tips. Don't use this if it's not your thing or you're not caring about tips. You know, if you got your own tips, great. But what I like to do when enchantment is, so I'm enchanting this ingredient, right? I like to enchant ingredients by the individual. So I enchant this as if this was the only ingredient in my separation powder, and I give it all the energy it needs for this alone to work. That way, you do that with every ingredient, you have a very potent and powerful separation powder. You know, because at the end of the day, you can have a separation powder with one ingredient or a billion. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. As long as the power and intention is in it, and again, the enchantment, it'll do whatever you need it to do. Now, I am going to see you in 2 ingredients, because the next ingredients I'm going to add is valerian root and mandrake root. And the reason I am not doing that on camera is because I'm taking the mortar and pestle somewhere else, because they're roots and I have to bash them like a mofo. So with that being said, on here, I'm not going to bash anything because I don't want to put too much pressure on this for the way it's set up. It's not, it's too hard to explain. I'll see you in 2 damn ingredients. Okay, so I am back with 2 extra ingredients. Now we have the Diablo pepper, we have the mandrake root, and we have the valerian root. Now, my next ingredient, looking at what we're working with, this is all the separation powder I have left. This is bad juju. This is bad. We need more, so we're making more. We're not making too much more, but just a little something to throw in here. You know what I mean? All right. The next ingredient is the tobacco. Now, you know what? Let's let the next ingredient actually be the beeswax. Now, this is another ingredient where you take. Okay. So, it's another ingredient. The wasp nest. It's paper. It feels like paper. It looks like paper. It's not paper. You know what I mean? But if you try to grind it up, unless it's incredibly dry and crispy, it's just really gonna flatten out. So this is another ingredient where you're gonna have to take your scissors and just, you know, make sure it goes in the damn mortar and pestle. Okay. Put that in there. Might have to go back in a few times to get the large pieces to cut. Adding the wasp nest, you also include the energy of, imagine, you know, a bunch of wasps just chasing you. What are you gonna do? Stand there or run? You're gonna run. You're gonna separate yourself from that situation, that environment, and get the fuck out of there. How many times a little bee just be flying around and people run and scream? And that's one bee. So, okay. That's what we have here. Next ingredient is the tobacco. Like how it was before. But this time it really is. Up to a nice powder. Okay. So after you finish with the tobacco, I mean, like, I don't know what you can see. If you can see it even better, like, I don't know what you all can see. Maybe I should put it down and then see what you can see. Can you see it? You can see some of it. It's turning into a powder a bit, you know, a little bit. She's a little flaky. Leave her alone. So are you. No, I'm so kidding. Um, all right, so the last two ingredients that we're going to add is sulfur, aka brimstone, and graveyard dirt. Because there's no separation better than death, right? Right? All right. Add a touch of sulfur. And sulfur is very potent, very strong. I feel has its very own unique qualities. That doesn't mean much enchantment, but it's still legit. Now the graveyard dirt. I don't know if you can see me. If you can see me, I'm sorry for not making so much eye contact. I didn't know you can. But if you can, hi. If you can't, I'm looking at nothing. Alright, just a touch. Just a touch of the graveyard. This helps call on the ancestors and the spirits to help you aid in this, to help aid you in this work. But again, it also harnesses the power of death and the separation that holds. So that is the powder. all in itself, all done and all fully enchanted. I'm gonna let this candle burn down to give it more energy and strength. Once that's done, I'm gonna add it to my jar. I have more separation powder. Okay. That's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, catch me in the next one, and I hope you guys, again, I always say this in every video, but I can't stress this enough. You do not have to use my ingredients. You don't have to use the way I enchant. You don't have to do anything like that. Just as long as maybe this gives you some type of inspiration on how to make your own separation powder for your own intentions and works, that's all I care about. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night, whatever time it is, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So yeah, later.